Hi there, this is the narrator speaking. In today's story, we will go through a dramatic ending to a love story. Ethan and Clara had been together for 3 years. To the outside world, they were the perfect couple, attractive, ambitious, and, seemingly, in love. But behind closed doors, their relationship was a ticking time bomb. Ethan had noticed Clara's late nights, her sudden obsession with her appearance, and the way she'd nervously check her phone when he wasn't looking. He had his suspicions, but he never confronted her. Not yet. What Ethan didn't know was that Clara had her own suspicions about him. She'd noticed his secretive behaviour, the way he'd disappear for hours without explanation, and the mysterious withdrawals from their joint savings account. They were both hiding something, and it was only a matter of time before the truth came out. One fateful evening, Clara came home with a sombre expression. She sat Ethan down, her hands trembling as she confessed, "Ethan, I cheated on you. It was only once, and I was drunk. It didn't mean anything. I'm so sorry." Ethan stared at her, his mind racing. He felt a surge of anger, betrayal, and something else, an odd sense of relief. He had been waiting for this moment, though he hadn't expected it to come so soon. With a calmness that surprised even himself, he replied, "Well, that's funny, because I've been cheating on you this entire time." Clara's face went pale. "What?" "Yeah," Ethan continued, his voice steady. "There's been someone else, for the whole 3 years. Her name's Vanessa." Clara's eyes widened, in shock, then narrowed in fury. "You've been cheating on me for 3 years. Who the hell is Vanessa?" Ethan shrugged, feigning nonchalance. "Does it matter? You cheated too. Guess we're even." But Clara wasn't having it. She screamed, threw a vase across the room, and demanded to know every detail. Ethan, enjoying her reaction a little too much, spun an elaborate tale about Vanessa, her beauty, her intelligence, their secret rendezvous. Clara's rage only grew, and for a moment Ethan thought she might actually hurt him. But instead, she stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Ethan exhaled, feeling a strange mix of satisfaction and emptiness. He called his best friend Jake and invited the boys over for a BBQ. "Bring beer," he said. "It's going to be a long night." The next few days were a blur. Clara didn't contact him, and Ethan assumed she was licking her wounds. But then strange things started happening. His car was keyed. Anonymous texts flooded his phone, calling him a liar and a cheat. One night, he woke up to the sound of shattering glass. Someone had thrown a brick through his window. Ethan tried to brush it off, but the incidents grew more sinister. He found his tires slashed. His social media accounts were hacked and embarrassing. Messages were sent to his contacts. He even received a package containing a dead rose and a note that read, "You'll regret this." Ethan knew Clara was behind it. He confronted her, but she denied everything. "You think I'd waste my time on you?" she sneered. "You're not worth it." But Ethan wasn't convinced. He started digging into Clara's life, determined to uncover her secrets. What he found shocked him. Clara hadn't just cheated once. She'd been having an affair with her co-worker, Mark, for months. And Mark wasn't just any guy. He was married, with a wife and 2 kids. Ethan's anger boiled over. He decided to expose Clara, not just to Mark's wife, but to everyone they knew. He compiled evidence, texts, photos, even a recording of Clara admitting to the affair. But just as he was about to hit send on the email that would ruin her life, he received a message from an unknown number. "Meet me at the old warehouse on 5th Street. Come alone, or else." Ethan hesitated. He knew it was a trap, but his curiosity got the better of him. He drove to the warehouse, his heart pounding. The place was dark and deserted, the air thick with tension. He stepped inside, and there she was, Clara, standing in the shadows. "What the hell is this?" Ethan demanded. Clara stepped into the light, her eyes cold and calculating. "You thought you could humiliate me and get away with it. You thought you could lie about cheating on me for 3 years, and I'd just let it slide?" Ethan's stomach dropped. "What are you talking about?" Clara smirked. "I know you made up Vanessa. I hired a private investigator. You've been lying this whole time." Ethan's mind raced. He tried to come up with an excuse, but Clara cut him off. "You're pathetic, Ethan. But you know what's even more pathetic? The fact that I actually loved you, and you couldn't even be honest with me." Before Ethan could respond, the sound of footsteps echoed through the warehouse. A group of men emerged from the shadows, their faces grim. Ethan recognized one of them, Mark, Clara's lover. "What's going on?" Ethan asked, his voice trembling. Clara smiled. "You wanted to expose me. Well, I'm exposing you first. These men work for Mark, and they're going to make sure you never mess with me again." As the men closed in, Ethan braced himself for the worst. But then something unexpected happened. Mark stepped forward, his expression softening. "Wait," he said. "This isn't right." Clara turned to him confused. "What are you talking about? We had a deal." Mark shook his head. "I'm not doing this. I'm done with the lies, Clara. I'm done with you." Clara's face twisted in rage. "You're choosing him over me?" Mark sighed. "This isn't about him. It's about me. I'm tired of living a double life. I'm ending things with you, Clara, for good." Ethan couldn't believe what he was hearing. Mark turned to him and said, "I'm sorry, man. I didn't know she'd go this far." Clara screamed, lunging at Mark, but the men held her back. In the chaos, Ethan slipped out of the warehouse, his mind reeling. He drove home, unsure of what to do next. The next morning, Ethan woke up to a knock on his door. It was Clara. She looked defeated, her eyes red from crying. "I'm sorry," she said. "I messed up. I messed everything up." Ethan stared at her, unsure if he could trust her. But then she handed him an envelope. Inside was a letter, a confession of everything she'd done, including her affair with Mark and her attempts to ruin Ethan's life. "I'm turning myself in," she said. "I can't live like this anymore." But there was more. Clara revealed that she had been embezzling money from her company, funneling it into a secret offshore account. She had planned to run away with Mark, but now that he had betrayed her, she had nothing left. "I'm giving you everything," she said. "The account details, the passwords, it's all yours." Ethan was stunned. The account held millions of dollars, enough to set him up for life. But he knew he couldn't keep it. He contacted the authorities, turning over the evidence and the money. Clara was arrested, and Ethan was hailed as a hero. In the weeks that followed, Ethan tried to rebuild his life. He sold the house he had shared with Clara, using the proceeds to start fresh. He reconnected with old friends, including Jake, who had stood by him through everything. One night, as Ethan sat by the fire pit in his new backyard, Jake handed him a beer. "You did the right thing, man," he said. "Not many people would have turned down that kind of money." Ethan smiled. "Yeah, well, I've learned my lesson. No more lies, no more secrets. From now on, I'm living my life on my own terms." The flames crackled and the stars twinkled overhead. Ethan felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in years. The past was behind him, and the future was his to shape. And as he raised his beer in a silent toast, he knew one thing for certain. He was finally free. The end credits Toddishevelled Half-Wit as the original poster to this story. He will be mentioned in the description down below. If you liked the story, please like and subscribe for more videos.